And you just saw on that DOT cam from Everett that it is snowing right now in Snohomish County. As you look at these different videos from Everett and Seattle, where you can see fresh snowflakes coming into Seattle just before 3 o'clock this morning. And the roads are definitely icy and dangerous in some spots with a couple of inches on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. The big arterials and the side streets. This is what it looked like in the commute from Woodinville in to work this morning. Some fresh tracks really on a white knuckle drive. And it was coming down heavy. Right now, a winter weather advisory is in place for most of the region. And
Snohomish County is getting hit hard by this latest round of snow.
Right now, King 5 Savannah Welch is live in Edmonds. Savannah, they canceled schools in the Edmonds district again this morning. What a day. What kind of conditions are you seeing?
Yeah, well, you can see why, Jake. The snow's been coming down for the last hour or so and sticking here in Edmonds. This snow, it's more of wet snow. There's really no ice here. It's just that really wet consistency. It's turning to slush in a lot of areas, but there's still, in some spots, a layer of ice under that snow. It just depends on where you are in the area. You can see the buildup that's accumulated on the street here. This is at 100th Avenue West and Edmonds Way. Let's get to that video we took earlier when we arrived about an hour or so ago. The snow's been coming down all morning. Schools here again, yes, closed in Edmonds today. When we were driving up I-5 to head north, we saw about maybe an inch or so on the freeway or less, but it still was building up, especially on the sides of the road. Made it hard to see the lanes at some times with heavy snowfall. We saw a couple people pull over and put their hazards on as well. So if you have any difficulty, be sure to find a safe space to do that. As we've been saying this whole week, give yourself plenty of extra time so that you really are able to get where you need to go safely. As we've been saying, make sure to take care of your car, wear appropriate clothing, because we're expecting more snowfall today, and it's not, in Edmonds at least, it's supposed to continue on for another hour or so. So we'll keep you updated on what we're seeing here in Edmonds. Savannah Welch, King 5 News.
Thanks, Savannah. And it is snowing where Drew Andre is right now as well. So Drew, tell us where you are and tell us what the roads are like around that location.
Right, okay, so we are in Bothell right now, right on the border of Bothell and Woodinville. Behind me is 522, and in the distance here, it's going to be a little tough to see, but we just saw a car that right now is in the ditch there in the center median area. The light that you see there is a flare that a trooper just put down, and then they drove off. But we saw one person that just climbed out of that car, and right now they're standing over there in the area. So that gives you a sense of how slick the roads are over here. And right now, even when you're on the highway in this area, it is just covered in snow. If a plow didn't just come through, you're driving over a fair amount of snow. We were actually talking as we're driving over here and said, if you don't have all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, it's going to be challenging to be getting out and about. Back out here to where we are, just off a side road, also gives you a sense here as one car drives by through how much buildup there is. And of course, plows aren't making their way everywhere. So this is going to be a challenge for a lot of people getting to work. Good news is the person we saw get out of that car, they look to be walking around and be okay. So we imagine there'll be some sort of emergency response that comes here, but from what we can tell, it doesn't look like that person is injured, which is great news here. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of those situations if this weather keeps up. And as you can see through the camera lens, it's certainly snowing here right now, Jake and Mimi.
Yeah, Drew, it is definitely going to be an issue out there if anyone goes out the door. It has been a lot of slide outs there on 405. I saw myself. Thank you, sir. School districts across the region are reporting more closures and delays this morning. 60-plus schools under some sort of scheduled change. We just learned the Lake Washington School District will be closed again today. The Seattle School District also announcing they're moving to that remote learning again today as well. The Edmonds School District, as we mentioned, has canceled classes, and other school districts on your screen as well. Edmonds, Mukilteo, Snohomish among them, canceling schools today.
And let's give you a look at the mountain passes right now. Here's a look at Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass, where you can see the snow is accumulating there with the ruler measuring how much snow they're getting up on Stevens. Look at the pass conditions right now. Snoqualmie traction tires are required. They're advised on Stevens and required on White Pass.
Shantae Sumter's got her work cut out for her again this morning already. We've got some issues.
Oh yeah, it is another busy morning. I'm tracking several crashes for you. This is another look here in Everett, where it looks like a community transit bus is involved in some type of issue on the ramp from I-5 northbound to 5 526 eastbound, so out on the Bothell freeway, on the Boeing freeway, excuse me, for those of you about to head out in that area. You can see the snow coming down, so that just shows you what you're dealing with. And you also saw from Drew's shot, a lot of those side roads are covered, so just give yourself some extra time. This is a look out on 405 in Bothell, where you can see the snow still coming down. Troopers on the scene of a crash that involves a car that is on its roof. So if the camera was a little panned a little to the left, you would be able to see that. And then not too far from there, our latest crash, for those of you working your way out from Maltby this morning, it's out on State Route 522 near the ramp to Highway 9. And in Redmond, a crash just cleared on 520 eastbound ramp to Lake Sammamish Parkway. But those ramps especially are going to be pretty slick. But regardless of where you're heading, just give yourself some extra time. It appears right now most of the issues are north of 405, north of I-90 at the moment. So for those of you about to travel out on I-5 though through places like Kent or Tacoma, just be sure to still be careful though, because you could be dealing with some ice.
Yeah, and it is a narrow band again this morning, as you can see. This one not drifting. It's pretty solid where it is. It was down as far south as Federal Way a little while ago, but you can see it's mostly concentrated from about, as Shante said, the intersection of 405 and 5 down there to the south, and then up to around the north, it looks like, and occasionally going on up towards the Everett area. If we get in a little bit closer, you can also see we're increasingly seeing it turn towards rain, it looks like, in some of those showers right near Puget Sound, but get just a little bit of elevation. Snow levels around 300 feet or so, you'll be accumulating some of that snow. It's noticeably absent. If you're down around Tacoma and Olympia, you're seeing a few flurries and going, what's the big deal? It's just that has settled in north of there, and that's where it's going to be staying and maybe drift just a little bit northward. So probably dealing with some ice down there, maybe a few flurries, but that's about all you're going to have to deal with down there. South and east of I-5 also pretty much clear of anything. Bellingham showing a few scattered showers, snow showers moving through there. Nothing that seems to be impacting. Different story underneath that area where that band, as you can see, that snow really covering it there in Shoreline. First alert weather day today until 5 a.m., through 10 a.m. tomorrow. Today it's going to be that new snow in the Central Sound, some ice around the area. It does clear this afternoon, so there's going to be snow melt, and then it's clear overnight with cold air moving in here. Lows tomorrow morning, mid-teens to mid-20s with wet roadways going into the evening, so it is going to be a hard freeze overnight tonight, just about everywhere it looks like. Take a look at the forecast. You can see not much going on up in Bellingham, but as we drop southward around the Everett area, we see those snow showers probably continue mid to late morning, highs getting to the upper 30s. Seattle, showers wrapping up by mid-morning pretty much, maybe some flurries later on, and similarly there in Tacoma. As I said, it clears this afternoon, clear tonight, really cold tomorrow, and a few rain snow showers over the weekend. We're not getting out of this anytime soon. We'll have the forecast coming up.